My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I'm sitting here in my kitchen at 2 a.m., staring at a letter that arrived 3 hours ago. A letter that changed everything I thought I knew about my family, about my husband, about the woman I called Mom for 15 years. If you think you know what betrayal feels like, think again. Because what I discovered tonight, it doesn't just break your heart. It shatters your entire world into pieces so small you'll never find them all. I've been married to David Mitchell for 15 years. 15 years of what I thought was happiness. Of building a life together in our little house on Maple Street in Springfield. David works at the insurance company downtown, comes home every evening at 5:30 sharp, kisses me on the forehead, and asks about my day. We never had children, which always made his mother, Eleanor, purse her lips in that disapproving way of hers. But David and I were content with our quiet life, our weekend trips to the farmer's market, our evening walks around the neighborhood. Eleanor Mitchell moved in with us 3 years ago after David's father passed away. It's temporary, David assured me, holding my hands in our living room, just until she gets back on her feet. I nodded, smiled, because that's what good wives do. That's what good daughters-in-law do. Eleanor was grieving, lost, and needed us. How could I say no? But Eleanor never left. And slowly, so slowly I didn't notice at first, she began taking over our home. It started small. She rearranged the kitchen cabinets because a proper kitchen should be organized properly. She criticized my cooking, my cleaning, the way I folded David's shirts. "That's not how a wife should do things, dear," she'd say with that sweet smile that never reached her eyes. David always took her side. "She's just trying to help, Sarah. She's been doing these things for 40 years. Maybe you could learn something." Each time he said it, a little piece of me died. But I endured it. I smiled. I tried harder. Because that's what love means, right? Sacrifice. Understanding. Patience. The first real shock came 6 months ago. I was cleaning Eleanor's room while she was at her doctor's appointment. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. I was just changing her bed sheets when I knocked over a small wooden box on her nightstand. The contents spilled across the floor. Old photographs, letters, and something that made my blood run cold. Bank statements. Not Eleanor's bank statements. Mine and David's. Our joint savings account. Our mortgage papers. Even my personal checking account that David had no access to. But there they were, in Eleanor's possession, with notes written in her careful handwriting. Notes about our spending, our savings, calculations about our house's value. And at the bottom of one page, in red ink, "Transfer completed. D doesn't suspect." My hands shook as I gathered everything up. Transfer? What transfer? I wanted to confront her immediately, but something held me back. A voice in my head whispered, "Be careful, Sarah. Be very careful." So I put everything back exactly as I found it and said nothing. But I started watching, started paying attention. That's when I noticed David's behavior changing too. He became secretive about phone calls, stepping outside to answer them. He started working late more often. When I asked about our savings account, he brushed me off. "Everything's fine, Sarah. Eleanor's just helping us organize our finances better. She's good with money." But I could see it in his eyes. The guilt. The lies. The second wave of devastation hit me last month. I was at the grocery store when I overheard two women talking in the checkout line behind me. "Did you hear about the Mitchell situation?" One of them said. "Eleanor's been telling everyone that Sarah can't have children because she's selfish. That she refuses to give David the family he deserves." The other woman clucked her tongue sympathetically. Poor David. And poor Eleanor. Having to live with such a difficult daughter-in-law. I stood there, frozen, as they continued discussing my personal medical information, my marriage, my character. Information that Eleanor had twisted and spread throughout our small community like poison. When I got home, I confronted David. "Did you know your mother has been telling people I'm selfish for not having children? Did you know she's been discussing our private medical issues with half the town? David's face went pale, then red. Sarah, you're being paranoid. Mom would never. She's probably just concerned about us, about our future. But he wouldn't look me in the eyes. He knew. God help me. He knew. And he let it happen. That night, lying in bed beside my husband who felt like a stranger, I made a decision. I was going to find out exactly what Eleanor and David were hiding from me. I was going to uncover the truth, no matter how much it hurt. Because living in this fog of lies and manipulation was killing me slowly, day by day. I started going through our financial records, our insurance policies, everything I could find. What I discovered made me physically sick. Eleanor hadn't just been organizing our finances. She had been systematically transferring money from our accounts into an account under her name. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. Over the past 2 years, she had stolen nearly $30,000 from us, from me. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the life insurance policy David had taken out on me 6 months ago. A policy I never signed, never agreed to, with Eleanor listed as the primary beneficiary. My own husband had insured my life and given the money to his mother, the woman who hated me, who had spent years trying to destroy my reputation, my marriage, my sanity. I confronted them both last week. Eleanor sat in her favorite chair in our living room, knitting needles clicking rhythmically, while David paced behind the couch like a caged animal. I know what you've been doing, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. I know about the money. I know about the insurance policy. I know about the lies you've been spreading about me. Eleanor never stopped knitting. Never even looked up. I don't know what you're talking about, dear. Click, 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 went the needles. You've been under so much stress lately. Perhaps you should see someone about these delusions. But David cracked. Sarah, please, let me explain. It's not what you think. Mom needed help. And we have so much more than she does. The insurance thing. That was just in case something happened to you. To make sure Mom would be taken care of. Taken care of with my life insurance money? I screamed. While I'm dead? That's when Eleanor finally looked up from her knitting. And the look in her eyes, it wasn't guilt or shame or even anger. It was satisfaction. Pure, cold satisfaction. David, she said calmly, I think Sarah needs some time to calm down. Perhaps she should go stay with her sister for a while, just until she can think more clearly. And David, my husband of 15 years, actually nodded. He actually considered sending Emmy away from my own home. That's when I knew I had lost them both. That's when I realized I was completely alone in this battle. But I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to let them destroy me without a fight. I spent the next week gathering evidence. I photographed everything, made copies of all the financial documents, recorded conversations on my phone. I contacted a lawyer, opened my own bank account, started making plans. If they wanted to play dirty, I could play dirty too. But I was going to play smart. The letter that arrived tonight was from my lawyer. Eleanor made a mistake. A big one. In transferring money from our joint accounts, she committed fraud. Real, prosecutable fraud. And the unauthorized life insurance policy David took out in my name? That's insurance fraud. Both of them are going to face criminal charges. But here's the thing that hurts most. As I sit here in this kitchen that no longer feels like home, surrounded by the ruins of what I thought was my family, I keep thinking about all the small moments I ignored. All the red flags I dismissed because I wanted to believe in love, in family, in the good intentions of people who were supposed to care about me. Eleanor never saw me as a daughter-in-law. She saw me as an obstacle to her control over David, a threat to her financial security, a problem to be eliminated. And David was so desperate for his mother's approval that he was willing to sacrifice his wife to get it. He chose her over me every single day for 3 years, in ways both small and devastating. Tomorrow morning, I'm moving out. I've found a small apartment across town, and I've filed for divorce. The criminal charges against both of them will proceed whether I'm here or not. Justice will run its course. But tonight, I'm grieving. Not just for my marriage, but for the person I was before all this happened. The person who trusted easily, who believed in the goodness of family, who thought love was enough to overcome anything. I've learned something these past few months. Something I wish I'd known years ago. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Don't make excuses for them. Don't try to fix them or change them or understand them. Just believe them and protect yourself accordingly. Because family isn't always about blood or marriage certificates or shared last names. Real family are the people who stand by you when life gets ugly, who have your back when the world turns against you, who love you enough to tell you the truth, even when it hurts. Eleanor and David were never my family. They were just people who shared my house and used my love against me. As I close this chapter of my life, I'm not just walking away with anger or bitterness. I'm walking away with something more powerful. Knowledge. Knowledge of my own strength, my own worth, my own ability to survive betrayal and come out the other side. I'm 42 years old, and I'm starting over completely. And you know what? For the first time in 3 years, I'm not afraid. I'm free. To anyone listening who might be living in a similar situation, who might be making excuses for people who don't deserve them, who might be sacrificing their own happiness for the sake of keeping peace, your peace of mind is worth more than their comfort. Your truth is worth more than their lies. And your future is worth more than their manipulation. Don't wait for a letter at 2 a.m. to wake you up. Wake up now. Save yourself now. Because you deserve a life filled with people who celebrate you, not people who plot against you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit that the people you love don't love you back the same way. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away before they destroy what's left of your spirit. That's what I'm doing. That's what I should have done years ago. But I'm doing it now, and that's what matters. That's how healing begins.